Hi everybody. Today we are asking the question about providing personal care for a mother or a wife. Mainly because a male caregiver posed a question the other day and said, should a son provide personal care for a mother? My sisters are mad at me because I'm not doing this and I'm just not comfortable with it. Well, the answer to the question really does depend on your family situation. The relationships, whether other siblings are involved, whether there are sons or daughters, and the personal care needs of a mother or a wife. Now, if you don't know what personal care means, stay with me while I define that for you and then offer some background and a couple scenarios about, whether a son or a husband should provide personal care and how this might work. So stay with me. If this is your first time on my channel, I'm Pamela D Wilson. I'm a caregiving expert, advocate, and speaker. I help adults and their caregivers work through the health, financial, legal aspects of caregiving, including these family relationship issues, like talking about personal care. I also serve as an expert witness for law firms. You can learn more about me and my experience by clicking below this video. Lots of links. You can go to my website, PamelaDWilson.com. Please do push the button right now, like this video, follow my channel, share these and other videos, and comment, even if it's only to say thank you. I do respond to all comments. Your comments and your participation help other people find their way here. So let's first define personal care. What does personal care mean? Well, it's basically help with what we call private hygiene tasks, like taking a shower, taking a bath, getting dressed, going to the bathroom, changing incontinence supplies, which normally people know them by the word depends, right? And just maintaining a personal appearance, right? So personal care is one of the activities of daily living. That's an acronym that you might hear. ADLs include bathing, hygiene, grooming, dressing, toileting, going to the bathroom, skin care, foot care, lotion. It also includes mobility, so getting in and out of bed, sitting down on a toilet and getting up from a toilet, moving around. So to answer the question, should a son provide personal care for a mother or a husband provide personal care for a wife, let's first talk about comfort level, because this is the obvious one. If you are a son and mom needs care, do you have sisters who help with your parents? If you are a husband, do you have daughters available who can help with your wife? Now, let's say that both your parents need care, right? So if your aging parents need care and you're the son, maybe you spend more time with your father and you're more comfortable doing things with him. And your sisters help your mom. That is like the ideal situation. But let's look at the role that you might play if you're a son and you only have your mom to care for and you're a caregiver. Maybe you do more organizational or managerial tasks, and your sisters do more of the interpersonal tasks and the personal care. So this could mean that you help your parents with bill paying, with their income taxes. Maybe you deal with all the health insurance issues or long-term care insurance issues, or you take care of the maintenance around the house, or just things like that, right? And these are things that you do, and I'm comfortable with it, and I'm good at it. What you're not comfortable with is helping mom wash her hair or trim her fingernails, or helping her get into the bathtub or the shower or off the toilet, or, if you're incontinent, maybe you're not comfortable helping her change incontinence briefs, all that kind of stuff. It is just not you, right? Now, there are some sons, though, who are male nurses or male CNAs, or maybe they've been a male physical therapist, or they've worked in a hospital or a care community, and they're like, I do this all the time. It's no big deal. Well, if that's your situation, that is great. That is okay. Based on my experience, there are sons who are comfortable helping with some degree of personal care. There are others who are like, nope, cannot do that, not going to do that, not going to do that. There's nothing wrong with either comfort level. All you need to know is where your comfort level sits within the situation. and have plans. Make sure that your mother knows. Make sure that your sisters know. And we'll talk about how to do that in a minute. But I want to talk about number 2, which is unexpected care accidents, which do happen. So let's look at where this gets a little tricky. So let's say that you have sisters who take care of all this stuff for mom, and you really don't have conversations about personal care, right? So you take your mom out one day not knowing that she is incontinent or that she can have accidents. And you're out and about and she has an accident and you're like, holy moly, I didn't know this was an issue. Mom, of course, is way embarrassed because her clothes are soaked. And you're like, what do we do? Now, if your sisters were in this situation, because they were likely aware that this could happen, they probably have a bag they take with them, or a bag in your mother's car with a change of clothes and incontinence supplies like incontinence underwear and wipes and gloves and all that kind of stuff that they just leave in the car just in case something happens. And previously nothing happened, but you know what? This is the first time and it happened to you and you are freaking out. So you're at the grocery store and this happens. Now, fortunately, you're at the grocery store where there are supplies. But the problem is mom's clothes are all wet and she's all upset and she can't deal with this. And you're thinking, I got to go into the women's bathroom and I got to go buy some incontinence pads or underwear or whatever. But mom's clothes are still wet. So just not an ideal situation. I mean, you figure it out, you work it out. Maybe there's some nice people in the women's room at the grocery store who help your mom out. But the thing to think about is these accidents can happen anywhere. Grocery store, doctor's office, running an errand, sitting in the car. So if taking care of something like this is well beyond your comfort level, especially if you go out in public and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go into the women's restroom to help my mother, then do not take mom out without a female family member accompanying you, or a friend, or somebody else who can help you take care of this. Because if you're out with mom, you're going to have to take care of it. You can't just leave her in soaking clothes in the middle of the mall or the grocery store or really anywhere else. It's not a great situation, but you got to figure it out. So let's kind of relate all this back to personal care at home. Again, you might be comfortable trimming mom's fingernails or toenails, maybe help her wash her hair, but beyond that, you're just like, this is like as far as I go, okay? And if you're a husband, you may feel the same way. This is as far as I go. So what you can do is you can hire a personal care attendant to visit, 3 times a week to help with bathing and things like that. Or if mom is completely incontinent or a wife is completely incontinent and they can't manage it at all, you may need somebody in the home daily to help out. Or if that's not possible or practical, you may have to look at moving mom into a care community where she can receive that help. I've also known husbands who, similar situation, they've had no problem providing personal care for their wife, no issues. Others who were like, I'm afraid, what if she falls while I'm trying to shower her or something like that? So here's just some considerations. Okay, so if you're a son with sisters and you're uncomfortable with this, don't let your sisters put you in a situation where you're going to have to do something that you cannot do. Because if something happens, like I mentioned at the grocery store, you can't just leave your mom in soiled Depends for hours or whatever. You have to do something about it. If you're a husband and you're uncomfortable with this, kind of the same thing. Problem solved. You have daughters. Can you hire somebody? You got to be careful not to put yourself in these situations, or really your mother or your wife in these situations where they need to be changed or they need to be bathed and there's nobody to help and they're having to wait days and all of that kind of stuff. Because staying in soiled incontinence briefs can cause skin breakdown, it can cause urinary tract infections. Bathing and keeping clean is very important for washing bodily fluids off the skin,,, 'and I won't go further than that, but you get the idea. The other concerns that a son or a father can have is if it comes to showering or bathing. So if mom or a wife is not stable on their feet and they don't have good balance, and they don't have a bath chair they can sit on, or grab bars in the bathroom, or a handheld shower that can come down and bathe, or maybe they weigh a lot and you're not sure how to help them get up properly, right? Or maybe they got to step over the tub to get into the bathtub, and maybe they get in the bathtub and then they can't get back out and you're trying to help them out. All of these little things become big things when they become a safety risk. So what if mom or a wife falls or slips, or you're not exactly sure like how to help them stand up from the toilet or stand up from a bath chair or whatever? Because there are safe ways to do this so that, mom or a wife doesn't get hurt, but you as the son or the husband also don't get hurt. And you can get this type of help from a CNA or an occupational therapist. A physical therapist can help your mom or your wife with exercises to make them stronger, to help their balance, all of that. There's all kinds of things that you can do to prevent falls or risks when providing personal care if you decide that is something that you're comfortable with. Okay, so the biggest thing with, should a son or a husband provide personal care for a mom or a wife is to really look at your comfort zone. What are you comfortable doing? What are your boundaries? I'll do A, but I'm not going to do B. Recognize what you can and cannot do and find other options. The options could be, my sisters will do this, or we'll hire somebody to do this, or my daughters will do this, or I will hire somebody to do this, or I'm going to do this, but I want to make sure I have the right training to do it so I don't get hurt and my mom or my wife doesn't get hurt. Being proactive to talk about personal care, which is embarrassing, especially if we're talking about incontinence or needing help bathing, is important before it gets to a point where, a mom or a wife needs care today and you didn't think about all of this. And I can share a personal story on this. So my dad was pretty independent when he was older, in pretty good shape, but he came to visit me one time for a week. And I have a shower, but it's inside a bathtub, right? So he had to step over the bathtub, lip or railing or whatever you want to call it to get in there. And he was worried he was going to fall. And, my house is not set up for older people. I don't have a grab bar on the wall. I didn't have a shower chair. I did have a mat, for slipping and everything. But he called me and he's like, hey, can you help me get into the shower? I'm like, of course I can. And the thing was, he was embarrassed. He goes, oh, it's held, when you're older to have your daughter help you with this. And I really wasn't even like helping him much, right? He's got a towel wrapped around him. I'm just helping him, steady him so he can get into the shower. And then I close the shower curtain and then he showers. But even just that little bit of help from my father was very uncomfortable. So flip that, a son and a mother. Or a husband and a wife. Well, husband and wife probably not as uncomfortable because they've been married all these years. But son and a mother, just the uncomfortableness of a mother worried about her son seeing her, wrapped in a towel or something like that. Even if you're willing to do it and the person is uncomfortable with you doing it, it's better to find somebody else that they're going to be comfortable with, okay? So it's a very difficult subject. It's a delicate subject to talk about, but do talk about it and ask your parents how they're managing things, especially if, you're around mom or dad and you smell an odor. Maybe they haven't bathed, maybe they're not clean, maybe they've had an accident, maybe you don't even know that they wear incontinence briefs or pads. These are conversations to have long before something happens where they really need the help and they can't get it. There's a lot of other help on my website, PamelaDWilson.com. I thank you all so much for being here. Again, please like this video, follow my channel, comment, even if it's only to say thank you, and share these videos. It helps other people find their way here. I will see you all again soon in another video.